Hey everyone, Old School Pokemon here. So today's video is going to be something a little bit different. It's not going to be so much Pokemon related as it is related to selling on eBay. Now, back when I first started my YouTube channel, 7-8 months ago now, I actually uploaded a video where I discussed selling individual Wizards of the Coast era common and uncommon cards on eBay. And I kind of provided a few different tips and tricks that I've learned over time in order to sell these cards while keeping your costs minimal in order to maximize your profits. Since then, that video is actually one of, if not the most popular video on my YouTube channel thus far, according to views at least. I've received a lot of interest within that video via the comments and different people emailing me regarding that type of content, if you will. Whether it be people who are looking to start an eBay business or people who are looking to grow their eBay business, who just have a couple of questions they want to run by me or get a second opinion on, if you will. So I thought it'd be kind of a interesting series to kind of branch off just slightly from Pokemon. Obviously, Pokemon's going to still be my main focus on this channel, but just kind of branch off slightly and start discussing selling on eBay in general. I've been doing this for a real long time. I've been selling on eBay for over 10 years now, which is real hard to believe. And over that time, I've learned a whole lot about selling on eBay, whether that be just through trial and error or reading different books, reading different articles online. I'm big into reselling videos on YouTube. Outside of Pokemon content, I'm big into watching those types of videos as well and learning what different people do within the reselling community. So let me know if you're interested in this type of content, and I can see about uploading more of these style videos where I discuss selling on eBay in general, given different tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. Obviously, you're still going to see a lot of Pokemon content. That's still going to be the #1 focus within my channel, because that's still a huge passion of mine. But I'm also real passionate about just reselling in general. So today's video, I'm going to be discussing selling on eBay via the buy it now with best offer format versus the auction format. Personally, I don't typically run eBay auctions. The vast majority of my eBay business is via that buy it now with best offer formatting. However, I do occasionally run a few eBay auctions here and there, kind of sprinkled in. And I actually just posted a whole bunch of eBay auctions within my eBay store. And that's what kind of got me thinking about this video and why I'm recording and uploading this video now. So first off, I'm going to run through and discuss kind of the advantages as to why I like that buy it now with best offer format, and then we'll get into the auction format afterwards. So there's 3 main reasons why I like to use that buy it now format. The #1 reason is obviously you have the best control over your price point. So you create a buy it now with best offer listing, and you actually get to set that price point to whatever you want. There's no real restrictions as to what you can set that price point to. You get to set that price point to whatever you want. You can throw in that best offer option to allow buyers to submit a best offer, which you can review yourself and either decline, counter offer, or accept that offer. So your item's not going to sell for a price point that you don't feel comfortable with. You're never gonna have to take a loss on that item if you're able to hold it. Obviously, if you need some quick cash, you might have to take a loss, accept an offer that's lower than what you paid or not as much as you were expecting. But for the most part, you're able to set a price point where you're able to turn a profit, and you really don't have to worry about selling that item for less than what you want. So that's a huge factor right there. Next up is more for people who are listing and selling a whole bunch of stuff on eBay, and that has to do with the time factor. So when you create that buy it now listing, you're creating the listing. You can either have one item within that listing, or you can have multiple quantity available within that listing. You create that listing, and it's live on eBay for 30 days. After that 30 days, it automatically relists on eBay, and it stays on eBay basically indefinitely until someone either purchases that item at the buy it now price or you accept a best offer on that item. The other option is to manually go in and end that item. But aside from those three options, your item's going to remain on eBay indefinitely until one of those three things occurs, which is a huge advantage if you're listing a lot of inventory, as opposed to the auction format where you have to manually go in every between 1 and 10 days, depending upon which format auction you're using, and change that listing around, relist the item. It takes a lot more time to do an auction listing versus the buy it now listing. Buy it nows are kind of set it and forget it mentality, where you list that item, you put that item in your eBay inventory, and you basically just forget about that item until it actually sells. But again, that's more for people who are selling or listing a whole bunch of items versus those who are listing just a couple items here and there. It's kind of a part-time gig, whatever you want to call it. The third aspect is something where I'm not super familiar as to the actual statistics, if you will, but from my experiences, you receive a lot less cases of non-paying buyers within the buy it now format versus the auction format. Obviously, no matter which format you use, you're still going to receive people who purchase an item and then never provide payment for that item. However, like I said, from my experience, there's a lot less cases of that happening with the buy it now format versus the auction format. And that kind of makes sense with how the auctions on eBay are set up, where the final few minutes can get real exciting depending upon what the item is. People may bid more than what they can actually afford, in which case they'd win that item and have to back out of the sale because they can't afford it. Or, especially true within the Pokemon side of eBay, people have started, especially on higher end items, people have started to just bid the item up, whether they have just no intention of paying for the item, they just want to bid that item up for whatever reason, or they have something similar, they have another card like that, and they want to bid that item up so that their card becomes more valuable, kind of artificially inflating that price point of the item. So those are kind of the three reasons why I stick with my buy it now and best offer listings versus the auction listings. But getting into the auction listings themselves, there's a couple reasons why I do like auction listings as well. Auction listings themselves, if you set them up correctly, it's going to result in a rapid sale of your item. You're going to be able to clear out some of your inventory, free up some capital so that you can make more purchases, and make more money on eBay. It's also going to give exposure to your eBay store. So someone will look at your auction listing. They might click on the link to your eBay store to see if you have anything else available, and they might find something else that they're interested in purchasing. Perfect example of this. I posted a whole bunch of eBay auctions within my eBay store just recently, and I've actually received a few different eBay messages from people saying, "Hey, I was looking on eBay. I found your auction. I never knew you had an eBay store. I found such and such an item that I'm planning on purchasing with this auction item." So you definitely gain customers with those auction listings. The third reason is it's more involving those higher end items that you don't see available for sale very often. But the auction listings are real good because it could result in a bidding war between 2, 3, 4 people who really want that item. And it could actually end up at a point where the item sells for more than what you were initially expecting to receive out of that item. More than what you would have set your buy it now price point to. So for stuff like that, auction listings are definitely a huge plus. That's definitely a huge plus of the auction style listing right there. Now, getting into setting up an eBay auction. So first off, obviously you want to have a good title, good pictures, and a good description. Similar to the buy it now formatting, you want to have those three things. It's even more so important within an auction listing, simply because your auction isn't available on eBay for as long. Auction listings are only going to be live on eBay for between 1 and 10 days, where those buy it now listings are live on eBay for 30 days before they automatically relist. So you want to make sure to have a good title. Keywords are big within titles, so if you're selling Pokemon, you definitely want to include Pokemon. Include the card name, the card number, the set name, what the condition is, and anything else that pertains to your item that you deem important, something that people would search for with that search bar on eBay. Obviously, good pictures, that's pretty straightforward. Have a good picture, close-up of the item so people can actually see what they're bidding on. Have a clean background. I like to use a poster board, black poster board. Just kind of a solid color background that's not distracting from what the people are actually looking to purchase. And then the description, not as important, just kind of reiterate what's in the item title, give any additional information. I like to give a breakdown on my grading scale and provide information on shipping, so on and so forth. But you don't want to get so far into detail where you're writing a novel. You want to be concise at the same time, give as much information as you can, but avoid writing that novel of text. People don't want to read that. So that's that aspect. Next aspect is kind of getting into the nitty-gritty of creating that auction itself. You want to start the auction off at a price point that's real low, what you expect to get from the item. Typically, I like to list all my auctions off at 99 cents, no reserve. And that's for a couple reasons. The first reason is it gains a lot of views initially. When the item's priced at 99 cents, and say you have an item that's worth $100, you post it as a 99-cent auction, no reserve. That item's going to gain a lot of interest initially because it is a $100 item and you're selling it for 99 cents. So you're going to gain a lot of views initially, you're going to gain a lot of watchers initially, and you're going to gain a few bids right off the bat. That's the perfect scenario you want for eBay-style auctions. You want to gain those views, you want to gain those watchers, you want to gain that interest right out of the gate. You can list auction-style listings at a price similar to that buy it now price. However, you're not going to gain that number of views. You're not going to gain that number of watchers. You're not going to gain that amount of interest. So I would definitely avoid that completely if you want to list an eBay auction. Go for that 99-cent starting bid. If you're hesitant, just list it buy it now with best offer. In regards to no reserve, this really isn't a big thing on eBay anymore, from what I've seen personally. It used to be a lot bigger than it is now, but I would just completely avoid that no reserve. Don't even pay for that extra fee to list no reserve. If you're going to list auction, list it at a real low price with no reserve. Otherwise, just go for that buy it now with best offer option. In regards to the shipping of your item, if it's something small like a single Pokemon card, a couple cards, anything that you can ship for relatively cheap, $3-4, offer free shipping. People are big into that free shipping. It can definitely help out in terms of additional sales if you do offer free shipping. So I would definitely recommend offering free shipping within your auction listings and buy it now listings as well. Talking about domestically, so if you live in the U.S., offer free shipping within the U.S. Obviously, if you're shipping international, I definitely would recommend charging for shipping internationally because it is a whole lot more expensive. Now kind of getting into the start time and end time of your eBay auction. So eBay auctions, you can set them up to run between 1 and 10 days. So you have 1-day auctions, 3-day auctions, 5-day auctions, 7-day auctions, and 10-day auctions. The 1, 3, and 5-day auctions are for something that's real hot at the time. So like comparing it to Pokemon, when Shining Legends was initially released, and none of the stores had booster packs available, everyone was frantic to get that product. Prices had skyrocketed for packs. However, we knew that there was going to be additional print runs. We knew that the product was going to become available again. So it was a hot item at the time, but we knew the price was going to decline eventually. Those are the types of items you want to see listed as 1, 3, and 5 day auctions if you do want to go that route. Something that's real hot, something that people really want, and something that people are really searching for on eBay. That's when those styles of auctions would be good. The 7-day auction is kind of the standard on eBay. That's a great format. 95% of the time, that's the format you want to be using, because you do get the exposure throughout the whole week of people viewing your item, able to look at your item, watching your item until the final day, final few minutes where they actually start the bidding war. The 10-day auction is for higher end stuff that doesn't become available as often. Stuff that you want to gain more exposure on, gain those additional views, gain those additional watchers, gain a few more bids over the period of the auction. Obviously, no matter which case you use, the 1, 3, 5, 7, or 10-day auction, majority of your bids are going to come within that last few minutes. So your time frame is more establishing that auction via the view count and the watchers. So those are the different time frames you can run your auction. You want to make sure to select a good start and end date. You can schedule a start and end time for your auction. It does cost an additional, I think it's like 10 cents per auction. So I usually just manually list all my eBay auctions myself. I don't pay that additional amount because it does save a little bit of money in the long run. But anyway, you want to select a good start time and end time for your auction. Obviously, so the best days on eBay are Saturday and Sunday nights between 10 p.m. and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those are the 2 days and the time frame that has the most amount of activity on eBay. That's when the most people are on eBay searching for stuff to buy. Saturday and Sunday night between 10 p.m. and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you want to make sure that your auction is ending within that time frame. I personally usually do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, just because when I do list auctions, I like to list a whole bunch of them all at once. So I kind of break it up into that 3-day period. But you definitely want to end between 10 p.m., 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over that weekend, Saturday and Sunday being the 2 best days. You want to avoid Monday and Tuesday night, or Monday and Tuesday in general. Those are awful days for selling, whether it be an auction listing or a buy it now format listing. Monday and Tuesday are usually the 2 slowest days on eBay. And then you want to avoid weird times. So between 2 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the morning, you don't want to have your auction ending between those times. Nobody's going to be awake for your auction. To bid on your auction for those final bids. Nobody's going to be awake during that time. So you don't want to have your auction ending at a random time like that, or at a time when everyone's usually working. That's kind of some of the tips and tricks that I use for creating and running my eBay auctions. The only other advice I can give you for that is post a few auctions and just kind of watch them, see how they do. Even me personally, I'll check on my eBay auctions daily. So I'll go through and I'll look at everything. I'll see what the price point's at. I'll see how many people are viewing it. I'll see how many watchers I have, how many bids that I have on that specific item. And it kind of helps you gain knowledge of how well your eBay auction is set up. If you're gaining a lot of views, you have a couple watchers, you have a few bids within that first few day time period, you're going to have a good auction for the most part. If you don't have many views at all, nobody's watching the item, nobody's bid on the item within that first few day time period, it kind of leads to an indication that maybe you did something wrong. Maybe you didn't emphasize enough keywords within your item title. Maybe your picture's not good enough, or maybe just nobody's actually interested in that item. So that kind of helps you better your eBay auctions to do that. Plus, me personally, I actually find it fun to keep track of all that information. I like looking at my auctions every day to kind of see how many views I got, how many watches I got, so on and so forth. I actually enjoy that whole behind the scenes process of you all. But anyway, before I ramble on any further, that's what I have for today. That's what my opinions on buy it now versus auction format listings. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that type of style video. Definitely let me know what you think, and we'll see about uploading more of this style content for you in the future. Obviously, I do have 2 real cool Pokemon purchases coming in. Hopefully I'll receive one early next week, and I actually have no idea when I'm going to be receiving the second one, but I'll definitely show you guys that. 2 of the, I want to say, 2 of the best purchases that I've made in a real long time. Real excited to receive both of them. So yeah, I'll definitely show you guys that when I do receive them. And I do have a few more Pokemon videos that I plan on recording at some point and uploading here shortly. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.